Good morning, everybody. Through technical difficulties and not full cups of coffee being drank yet, we're here. It is Drink Up on this Saturday, April 25th. We got myself, Adam Smith. We got Sam Anderson, as always. And this morning we have with us Priya Dua from Archive PR. Before we get into it, we'll give the shout outs as we do. Sam, where's the obligatory J. Williams Freebird?
Yeah, this
Bingo.
guy here, interesting story. See the name Freebird? What song does that come from?
Isn't that a song, Freebird?
Song
No?
Freebird, Leonard
Yeah.
Skinner. They
Yeah,
didn't trademark
okay.
this, though. Guess who owns Freebird is Jay Williams, and it's a water, which is the most amazing story. Jay, I'm out of product, man. I need more. Send it over. This is the only way I
This
can
is,
get free water, by the way. Well, it's
I
not
was just
free.
say,
I'm
this is
earning
all
it.
a
I'm
ploy.
talking about Freebird. There you go.
This podcast was all a ploy to get Sam free canned water, and it's working beautifully.
That's right.
So we have Jay, we have obviously Sam and Alicia with Bev Assets and Frontline, and we have myself and Alias Advising, and then we have Mr. Halliman and On the Rocks. Yeah, we could spend a
Yeah,
whole hour
so a little bit about that too. So Adam from Alias Advising, if you think about everything operations, like if you want to get like formulation, things in the can, get it on the line and get it going and growing, that's what happens. And then Ryan has a big community within his rocks, a lot of people that can plug in. But I think Ryan's more of like logistics, right? And stuff. Is that his like kind of a big deal or?
Yeah, I would say, it's funny. Ryan and I both do operations. Our Venn diagrams overlap really well. So for him personally, the sharpest point of his stick, if you will, is procurement, right? Whereas um, supply chain, purchase orders, getting the best price, making sure you have proper agreements, forecasting, like I do it. He does it better. Whereas my end of it is kind of formula management, right? Understanding the nuts and bolts of the liquid, not being the chemist, but kind of talking like one. And then actually, Priya, it'd be great to put you in touch with them because Ryan's LLC is structured in such a way that, like, for example, if somebody came to us and said, and they came to us and said, hey, we want operational help, but also like, I need a website. I need to know who the fuck my customer is. Like, I need to know where to reach them and
Yes,
what happens then, right?
all very important.
Right. The whole idea is in dogs chewing on things over here. The whole idea is that if it's useful, because sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, depending on the size of the client, but that we can kind of lump all that in under one contract. So in the case that they say, hey, we want operational help, we'd also like feet on the street services. Great. Ryan will write you one agreement that includes my services and Sam's and so on, and you get the idea.
Yeah, so it's a community. So welcome to it. But Adam, you're gonna be surprised what I'm about to offer here. When this show publishes on Apple iTunes and YouTube and Spotify, if you like and share the and send your email to us, you'll go into a drawing where you can get $3,000 worth of free services. And if Adam wants to step up and participate in it, he can. So we're going to start. If you come in and watch our show, we're going to provide that. So enough with that. This is about you. It's not about us, but we got to be a better job. And maybe probably you can help us figure out how we do that because we've been rolling for about 4 years and we go live, raw, and real. And so welcome. I know I got the pleasure of meeting you. Sorry for the computer problems this morning. Adam definitely bailed me out, which was great. But we're excited to talk to you. Now, you're coming to us from where?
I'm in Southern California, Orange County area. Yeah, and
Well,
it's
it's early
gray.
there.
It's so gray outside. I'm so just I thought it would be a beautiful sunny day. I was hoping to share some sunlight with you all, but no, not happening.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
great
it's
here
interesting. I
too.
know you
So
and
we're
Adam been
all
talking for
speaking
a
the same
while.
line.
I'm gonna let you know. So how did you were talking before we hit live? How you found us? How did you find us?
Yeah, so one of my interns, she was doing some research on some beverage podcasts, food and beverage, because one of our clients is a food and beverage ingredient manufacturer. And she came upon this one. And knowing that we are becoming much more entrenched in both the food and the beverage industries, and she knows my passion, she thought, all right, you know what? I'll reach out and see if they might like Priya. And I'm just so happy, Sam, that you responded. It was quite a nice surprise. And, I bought her some lunch for her hard work.
We should buy her lunch, Sam.
Yeah.
Right? We should
Well, my
send a little.
daughter was in Southern California, so I don't know if you're into San Diego or Los Angeles. I can't remember.
I'm in like Southern Orange County, like really close to San Diego, I would say. Both, yeah.
There you go. So we'll have to. I owe a lot of people visits. Adam and I have a few friends out there. that we need to come see. But we're excited to have you. So tell us a little bit. I did some research. Obviously we talked. You're a couple decades worth of work out there in terms of what you've achieved. I'm
Yeah.
interested in getting into some conversations. One of the things that I've been thinking about today is stop selling and stop providing solutions. And I
Yeah.
would think an organization like you could do that. So maybe tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing and where it is you want to go and what the things you're doing in order to get there and how you help brands.
Yeah, so in terms of the agency itself, we're just working very hard to continue to provide service to our customers or our clients that really kind of move past just your traditional service offerings. We do our media relations, we do speaking opportunities, all of that good stuff. But, maybe this is my Midwest roots, I'm not sure. But on my end, I feel that relationship building has become kind of a lost art. It's kind of dying out. We've become so separated from one another just based on the way the world works now. And technology, love it, beautiful, we all need it, but we're starting to kind of lose that person to person relationship. So as an
That's why
agent,
we go live raw and real, by the way. And we didn't warn you, by the way. And I cheated because I said, Adam was going to take control of the helm, and I've just come in crazy. But think of me as the pitcher today and Adam as the thinker. And we're going
okay,
to spit some zingers at you. And if you go long, we'll probably
all
come
right.
in and interrupt you as well. So hopefully you're
Zingers.
cool.
All right, I'll do my best, guys. I'll do my best. But then, in terms of helping brands, what we try to do is kind of take those specific, solutions that all agencies provide and make sure that it becomes more than just, phone call here and there. I'm here to text, to talk, anything they want. I've dog sitted, if that's not the weirdest thing in the entire world you've heard. It's really here to just help everyone out. At the end of the day, I
Yeah.
think that the client agency relationship, we're all just people at the end of the day. We're all trying to achieve our goals to make exciting things happen. And hopefully that at the agency, our person to person feel is actually resonating quite well.
Yeah.
People seem to really enjoy working with us and the team. So hopefully that answers your question. And if I start to talk too much, just tell me to be quiet. I haven't had enough coffee yet, but
No, that's perfectly fine. One of the things that you know, you grew up in Fortune 500. It looks like
yes.
you've done some startups, B2B,
Yeah.
B2C. You know, what's your favorite? Fortune 500,
Ooh.
B2B, B2C, having your own entity? Where do you sit today on that
I
spectrum?
have to say my own business, my own business. I think growing up in the agency environment, you're a 20 something, you have endless amounts of energy. It's exciting, and then I moved into, in-house as I got into my 30s and that was fine. But now I'm in my 40s and frankly, I just don't want people people to tell me how to run my career. I feel like I know enough now to be more effective in that kind of position. In terms of the type of industry, I did grow up in the B2B world and I felt very safe in the B2B space.
Yeah.
But now B2C has become much more part of my life, especially in these particular industries. And there's been a whole new excitement there that, I think maybe was lost over the years. So I feel kind of reborn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So did you become an entrepreneur because you wanted to, or did you become one because you had to?
I wanted to. Over the years, I've always done kind of like a side work, side gig in addition to my agency jobs. It just didn't, it needed to happen for some reason. And then I think maybe it was 2 years ago, I decided, all right, enough of this. I've been freelancing, I've been working here and there. It's time to just, what did my friend say? To cut the boat, cut the tie. Anyway, I'm on the island. I'm on the island by myself now.
You
And
burned the boats?
I burned the boat. You got it. That's the one. Burned the boat. I
Yeah.
think scared me when she said that. I thought, wow,
Yeah.
that's a huge way to say it. But yeah, so I made the choice. Here I am and very
What
happy.
is it that you like about being a founder in your own business? What do you like about it?
I think it's the feeling that I'm able to control the creative process of the agency, being able to, think a little bit more strategically about what kind of client makes sense for the goals we're trying to achieve. And when you're at an agency, you kind of have to be put on the accounts that you're put on. And if you don't believe in the product, too bad, so sad. That's just the way it works. But
Yeah.
having your own agency, you get to really think through, is this client someone that I feel I can have a long-standing relationship with? Can I help them get where they want to go?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So
You get to choose who you work with too, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You
I'm
know,
sure we all have thoughts.
that's the one thing I like. What is it that you don't like about having your own business?
I do think sometimes I get not attached, but I'm a people person. I'm a Midwest gal. I'm used to just trying to get along, everybody get along. So sometimes, although I think I'm a savvy business person, I do have a tendency to just get a little, I don't know, maybe I'm a little too friendly. Maybe I'm a little too, does that kind of make sense? I don't know what kind of vibe you're getting from me, but it's kind of, I don't know, maybe a little Pollyanna of me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I'm learning. I've been doing this for 4 years. My partner, Alicia Vargo's, 2 decades in as an entrepreneur, and my other partner, I think he has a couple decades as well. So I'm learning every day, but
Yeah.
I didn't do like you did. I became an entrepreneur because I had to. I had to make a choice to put food on the table or not put food on the table.
Yeah.
And now I'm happy that I was forced over the ledge to go dive into this thing and do it. But
Hmm.
what bugs me about it is what I love about it is I get to go for a dog walk when I wanna go for a dog walk,
Yes.
right? I love that. But what I don't like about it is I feel like if I don't, like, continue to, like, network and work, the income does not come in. Because
That's
the only person that's gonna keep the lights on are the people that own the business, and it's nothing against the people that work with us, but at the
yeah.
end of the day, we own the P&L pro forma and income statement. And,
Yeah.
we are the business. So that's the next, I guess, role I'm trying to figure out is move the business where it can operate without me.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Oh,
Yeah,
a well-oiled machine.
and I'm not sure how to do that just yet. So, learning. But with that, so, a couple things. Wanna ask you about this. I'm gonna throw some questions at you.
Boy.
And by the way, we always ask you too, if there's things we don't cover that you wanna cover, we can cover. All right, and then, Adam, maybe you can kinda get the vibe of what I'm doing, but I actually posted this on LinkedIn last night. What I wanna get into is, can you tell us, like, why most brands' stories are just noise?
That's a great question. I think, and this might be kind of pointed and maybe not totally fair, but I do think too
Hey, bring it
often.
on, man. Because and when Adam starts getting in, the juices are gonna start flowing.
It's like I'm bringing this is just from my experience. I feel like too often the C-suite has a specific idea of what a good story looks like, what a good brand story is for their particular company, when they don't necessarily understand what a story should be, what it should look like, and how it would speak to existing customers and potential customers. So, not to say that CEOs don't know, but some of them just don't understand. They don't know how it works. So you've got
Isn't the C-suite the most dysfunctional, part of the business?
I just yeah, and I think that's why one great thing about having your own business is you get to be your own CEO, but I think that's such a huge problem. There's a little bit of an ego situation. They want things to go the way they want, which I get. They're in charge of a huge organization or whatever size they are. But you got to leave the expertise to the experts. You got to be strategic about the stories you tell and make sure they align well with overall objectives. And I think that's a huge problem nowadays. I don't know if you've seen that, but for me, that was a huge frustration in my career. Just like, listen to us, listen to me. We know what's best for this kind of thing.
So what does your agency do in order to solve for that? If you're working with a client and, their brand stories are not just noise, how do you course correct them to get them on track?
Yeah. So in the initial conversations we have, we really do kind of go through an audit. Nothing too intensive. We'll do a competitor audit, that kind of thing. That's a little bit more technical, but we do have that initial call, talk through what we've seen and where we can see improvement. So it's not necessarily you're doing this wrong. It's you're doing this in a certain way, but this is how we can solve for it. This is how we can help you. So then that conversation becomes one that's more of a partnership and one of being proactive and making good things happen. Tough conversations to have. I've actually had potential business with some companies where the CEO just would not listen and was not willing to bend to our expertise, and we've not been able to actually work with them. We've turned them away because at that end, everyone's just going to fail. We aren't going to be set up for success on either end. So that's definitely a struggle, but
How do you identify your CEO? And Adam, come in, man. I'm just gonna keep on going here, but,
Go.
like, so you said because of the CEO. When I look at CEOs, or I call them founders, we work from, different brands at different stages.
yeah.
Sometimes the CEO is an attorney.
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
think like an attorney.
that's
Sometimes
true.
a CEO is a salesperson and they think like a salesperson. And
Yes.
sometimes a CEO is like a finance person, they think like finance. Do you kind of do that in terms of how you kind of talk to them?
Yeah, yeah. I have had some interesting situations where CEOs are folks who probably shouldn't have been. And so you do kind of have to have a moment where you think through, okay, this is where this person is coming from. You have to be a little bit gentle, maybe hold hand a little bit, but it's always important not to come across as threatening, especially when it's folks like these who don't have the education.
You're not going to tell them their baby's ugly?
I have pretended that someone's dog was adorable when it was absolutely not cute, but that's okay. We do what we have
All
to
right,
do.
Adam, you ready?
But, yeah, you just gotta think about it from, "This is their mindset. I'm here to help. I'm not here to make them feel bad. They know what they're doing. We gotta ease into it." So, it takes
Yeah.
time, but you get there.
Gotcha. Adam, I know you're thinking here, so bring them on, man.
That face, I'm a little worried.
Yeah. I mean, you guys talk me up so much. I'm nervous. I mean, really, my question I want to start with is a much simpler version of something Sam kind of asked, and that's I think people tend to conflate, and this goes all the way back to school, but they tend to conflate sales and marketing and advertising, especially in the early days of a company when maybe money is a little bit tighter or people can't wear each hat individually. They all kind of
Mhm.
just meld into one amorphous blob, and it's not
Yeah,
the best, right? And
yeah,
so
true.
I think my first question for you is like, how do you help? Like, and Sam knows this. I work with a lot of first time. I mean this in the nicest way. Founder is too kind a word, right? Like, they're people with an idea who think they might become a founder, right?
Mm. Yeah,
And so for folks kind of in that stage, big or small, how do you help explain to them or just set the precedent or the expectation of like, hey, marketing is this thing, sales is
yeah.
this thing, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. So what we've typically done is we go in with, I guess, use cases, similar business models, maybe folks in a similar industry, this kind of business organization, this kind of layout, and then kind of use that as a model, based on what this company is doing and the success they've had, this is kind of how we're leveraging these different kind of folks for achieving xyz, especially when it comes to things like marketing. If you have a proof point or some kind of example that you can share that resonates with them, that really helps. Does that make sense? I hope I'm answering your question.
Sort of. Can you give me an
Yeah.
example?
Okay. Okay. An example of
Yeah,
the
use case, like something that you've actually gone through. You've talked to a client and you had to walk them through
Yeah.
that.
Yes, yes. So I had let's see, it was a digital healthcare company. They did EHR records and they had a very sporadic staff, they were small companies. So they had people kind of mushed into different categories. Sales and marketing, you probably have find a lot of people are just kind of smushed into the sales and marketing category. So I really just sat down. We had worked with another company, not in the digital health space, but someone with the same size and a similar structure, and just said, these are the kinds of people that we worked with at this company. So and so had this particular role, and I see that you have something similar here. However, we found that by utilizing this portion for marketing this way, kind of slicing and dicing in this way was actually quite beneficial for them. Is this something you'd be open to considering? And then by kind of having that just initial conversation, gentle conversation, they were open to learning a little bit more about how they can be separated, how things can work, and how we can partner with one another so that everyone is successful. It's
Sure.
always unfortunate. I feel so bad when sales and marketing folks get lumped together because I feel like sales, especially, doesn't have nearly as much knowledge as they should have to, honestly, about marketing. And it'd be good for them to know more about marketing, of course, but
Mhm.
I feel like they're given so much expectation in terms of understanding things like marketing and branding and such. So, yeah, it's just those gentle conversations, people don't want to be told they're doing something wrong and that a structure is wrong. They want to know that, and they want proof points. They want to get some sort of example from you. So, hope that's a good
Isn't
example
that
for you.
the Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this is something I have to remind even myself on the ops end of it is, isn't the whole point of why we have a job, the royal we on this call, that people are doing something
Hmm.
wrong or they're not doing it at all, right? Like it's one of those two,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like that's what
guess
we're getting paid for.
that's true.
And
That's true.
so
They're
do
paying
you
for
find
knowledge.
well, yes, and this is my question, right?
Okay.
I know you guys have all dealt with this, but you'll come in and can I make this concise? You'll come in and you'll say, hey, based on what I'm seeing, in my expertise and experience and give all the reasons and the supporting data and so on, we need to proceed this way. And
Yeah.
then whether it's big brand, small brand, whatever, somebody go, yeah, I don't like that. Pick another one. You're like, no, that's not what I'm here for. Right. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so how do you, like, I know how I approach it from an ops perspective, but I'm curious from a marketing or a PR perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little more, the reason I like ops is because a lot of times it's very black and white. They're like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
You can do the
Yeah.
other thing, but it costs this much more. It's going to take this much longer, and you can pick your poison. I don't give a shit. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah.
And so for you, where the PR world is, I assume, a little more fluid in terms of, yeah, you could take that approach and here's how we think it might turn out. But obviously, like,
Yes.
there's a lot at play because it's a little more of a conversation than it is just numbers on a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do those conversations go when you've got, somebody that's like, yeah, I don't want to do that, even though I'm paying you to tell me to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's a tough conversation. And I have to say that from a PR standpoint, you got to have a lot of patience. And I know having that PR understanding, there definitely takes, it's a lot more than the black and white approach of, okay, that's too bad, right?
Mhm.
That's when you come in with some alternatives, maybe something similar. I think that it is very much like handling children sometimes. You got to kind of, oh, right? You got to do the whole make them feel like it was their idea kind of thing. There's a lot of psychology
Yeah.
behind that. But honestly, at the end of the day, if there is no way to get through it, and this is a new client, then we just can't work with them. I mean, if it comes down to it and they're not willing to be flexible, I don't want to invest my time and the time of my employees to where we're all just failing. No one feels good about that. No one wins in the end. So,
Yeah,
that does.
so the worst client to have is if they're absent and they're not involved. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's also really hard. That's really challenging because it is a collaborative it's a collaborative environment, especially with things like PR. You have to work together. I mean, I know everyone says this and it's so trite, but we consider ourselves an extension of a client. I'm sure we've all heard that, right? But that's truly what it has to be in order to be successful. The collaboration has to be strong and the willingness to participate on the client's end has to be there. A former client I had, and I know she was so overwhelmed, and I feel terrible because they were a startup, brand new, trying to get through it, and she was such a smart woman, so strong, but she really had a hard time putting herself into that collaborative mindset. And with that, it's just not going to work. And I think that she learned her lesson. Maybe over time she will, come to better realize that. But it's just collaboration is so crucial for this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So if I could step back a little bit, I don't know if we
Okay.
covered it. Your agency, what is the main thing you do, or what are the services that you offer? And then I have a question to follow up on that.
Okay. So there are quite a few services. Media relations is obviously one of the biggest things that we do. It's just kind of the historical nature of PR. And we do a lot of speaking opportunities, event management, event coordination. Social media, of course, is huge for everyone now. If you don't do that in a PR agency, who are you? What are you doing? We do that, awards. We do crisis management as well. I think that's one thing that I really like about the agency is we are made up of a lot of different specialties.
Can't you turn crisis into opportunity?
You really can. But can I just say, no, when people say any PR is win, what is it?
Any
All
PR is good PR. Any
that's
bad?
lie. The biggest lie ever. I'm so sick and tired of people saying that. That is not true. I fully disagree 100%. Gosh, that's so frustrating. I don't even know where I was going with that. I just had a
Well, you were
moment.
just telling about your services, right? So you were going through the services, and so what
Yeah.
is the main service you offer? Is there a main service, or is it just is it like almost like as Alicia says, is it a cafeteria style thing? I arrive to you and I say, Priya, I have this business and I want to do some speaking engagements. I also
Mhm.
think I have a crisis problem over here.
Mhm.
I mean, basically do your intake, and is that just define, or is it just like, can I just plug and play where I want to plug and play with?
Typically, media relations is going to be the biggest service I would provide. It's what
Okay.
most people want, which is probably why it's kind of
Yeah.
become
And
that way.
what's media relations?
I know it's kind of a vague term. It's basically engagement with all types of media, whether it's broadcast, Podcasts, I mean, I guess you would fall into broadcast as well. Print
Yeah.
media, online, all of those folks who would
So we
potentially
need your, Adam, we need her services for Drink Up.
come get me. I'm here. But are you open to ideas? Now that's my question.
100%. That's why we do this on every Saturday morning. We have 400 hours of content, all these ideas. It's amazing, the stuff. I've grown so much from this, all seriousness.
Hmm.
I'm smart enough to know this, is that I know there's much smarter people than I am, and I know what I don't know, and I want to learn more. And just having these conversations every Saturday, Adam, I don't know if you would agree, but the things I've learned along the way, it's amazing from where we've been 4 years ago.
Yeah, I can only imagine the types of folks you've had. I mean, I was taking a list to look at some of the podcasts you've had, the past episodes, and you've spoken with a lot of different types of people. It's amazing. Has there been a favorite? I guess I shouldn't be asking questions, but
No, I think they all are good. I mean, Adam can give his take. I mean, it just comes to mind. I don't know if there's like a favorite, but I had Jayla Siciliano on. I don't know if that Wednesday or Thursday, Adam, but she was on Shark Tank.
hmm.
And she also, Mark Cuban was her partner for 10 years, and she had a beverage brand. And I was on her podcast,
Oh, very
and we kind
cool.
of continued the discussion on my podcast.
Hmm.
And then, I've had a guy just recently, Dan Levison, which is a founder of Viable Teas, or the guy that from G4, Sean Miller.
Oh, I don't know
And
Sean
the
Miller.
first thing Sean Miller told us is, some of the some ex, stuff in front of the things. But Sean is like, "Hey, distribution is basically you have to pay the toll to get over the bridge, and that's the toll in order to get your product to market."
Yeah,
The guy says one of the hottest tequila brands. But there's just so many friends that we've made from this and learning. I'd
yeah,
encourage you and others to actually go check those things out. But I don't
yeah.
know if I really have a favorite. Adam, thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've talked to a lot of really cool people.
I think you like Adam Callahan from Bottle Keepers.
I would say Adam County was a super cool one. Was it Dan from Digit was
Yeah.
cool. He and I still keep in touch.
Is that the guy that said, "Don't be the buffalo or be the buffalo"? Yeah,
God, I
it
don't
was Dan from
remember.
Digit.
My phone's in
Like
the other
that.
room, but shit, the gentleman in New York, I feel so bad I'm blanking on his name. He texted me. I got to get a catch up call set up with him. But yeah, I mean, it's to answer the question, it's kind of been those people who've seen, regardless of their industry, who've seen kind of the front to back of it and can say, like, yeah, this is like, here are all the fuck ups I made. Don't repeat.
Hmm.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm,
there's just things, Priya, you're gonna say things to me that I'll use, and
Hmm.
hopefully I always go back and listen to these, podcasts. Like, I'm thinking about Mike Levison. Mike does, like, he calls on, like the food, quick service, food service and
Yeah,
all that. But
yeah.
he used the term, said, "Everybody wants to play in the ocean, go play in the rivers and streams."
Wow. I've never
Right, so
heard that.
things like those little things just stick, or like Adam Cowline, I mean, his bottle keepers is basically a bottle where you could actually keep it cold. Him and his wife hit on a Facebook post, and this, like, relates to you in terms of, like, media relations.
Yeah.
Like, they did a Facebook post and it went viral.
Wow.
I think it was the number one Shark Tank episode, right, Adam? Something like
Mhm.
that in terms of what it was. But if you think about, like, when you're doing, like, your media relations, that's why maybe we get into this, like, you have this brand or this personality, and you bring them to market. Like, how do you put a person in position to get, and it's no guarantee to, like, you get that one post. One post can take you viral.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. And that's bananas when that happens. It's pretty astonishing for sure. And that's amazing for them. I'm going to have to check out this post because I need to know what this is all about because I want to find a way to replicate that in some capacity. Because
Yeah,
that's,
go back. So you can find us on Apple iTunes or
yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of episodes. We're a little bit behind in terms of posting the most recent ones. So,
Okay. Awesome.
all
So,
right, we got dead
archive, I
silence
want
there. That was my fault. We'll
No,
cut
no,
no.
that out
you're
on
good.
the whole bit. But
You guys hear me?
uh, go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, so archive, think, shit, I had it out. Tell us about just the agency and like, is it you and the whispers in the hallway? Like you mentioned you had an intern, how many people are on this
Yeah.
team? How did you grow from just, I mean, did you start with a team? Did you start doing it yourself and expand from there?
Yeah. So there are four of us, including myself. I like to say we're four. We're four very scrappy, hardworking individuals. Yes, one intern, myself, and then two individuals who work for me as well. In terms of what we do, one of those people or one of those individuals, she is just amazing at media relations. So she's like our big pitcher. The other folks, we have the other individual, he is amazing at thought leadership. So he does a lot of the awards and speaking opportunities. He does a ton of the writing, which is great. So they're the perfect balance for us. Danny is just all about administrative. She's incredibly organized, which is very helpful with PR can be crazy messy. So she's great. And then there's, me being me, doing new business, trying to keep us all afloat and just, keep things moving. I didn't start out with a team. It actually all happened rather quickly. I had been a freelancer for another agency, just kind of doing my thing, but then decided, you know what, I kind of want to just do my own thing, work with some other folks. Two of those clients that had worked with her decided to leave, and then they contacted me forever later and said, hey, we actually are in the market for an agency. Saw that you're now working on your own. Would you be willing to work with us? So that's kind of how it really began, just that initial relationship prior. And then from there, things just kind of built naturally. And so that's kind
Great.
of where we are today. Yeah. And I think we're good now in terms of growth. I mean, if we get more companies on board, I mean, great. But I think that we're working in a good capacity. I don't grow too much until I feel like we are as stable as possible. You know what I mean?
I'm curious on growth. I'm gonna throw it out there. Are you using AI at all to help leverage your business?
I honestly don't use AI that much. And I've actually just started taking on tools for more automation of the business itself. I do
Right.
think that's really important. I use like AI for content development for internal purposes, but I know a lot of people use AI for content development externally. That is something that I am firmly against. Firmly against. Everything that we write at the agency is fully human written. I suppose we could go to AI for an idea for, research points, but that's something that's very, very important to me. All content is fully original, no AI support. So
I,
I got
I, I love that. It's funny because I grew up, I mean, I'm 61. I'll just put my age out there. So when I was in college, you could not graduate from English Lit 200 or 100 without writing a full essay of 500 words. And you had to be grammatically correct. You had to write with a
Mhm.
number two pencil on a
Yes,
blue book.
yes, I
And you
remember
could
those.
not, you had one misspelling, one miscomma, one grammatical error. You flunked the class. Didn't matter what you did the whole semester in that
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
They would give you a statement and you'd have to develop a thesis from that statement, do your body, the whole bit and
yeah,
conclusion and everything had to tie out too, right?
yeah,
And it was
absolutely.
written. Today, I mean, you can write a whole book. You can go into ChatGPT and say, here's my life, write the book. My
Yeah,
fear is I love AI. I'm a big AI
mhm,
advocate, big in robotics, big in AI.
yeah,
My fear is though, you're going to lose the critical thinking.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I feel like the content that's created, even though it might be grammatically correct or, and it does read well in most cases, there is still that human element that I feel like just cannot be captured. The emotion that you feel from something that's creatively written, that's human generated, that AI just cannot capture, in my
Well,
opinion, at least in my use.
no, the reason we go live, raw, and real here is exactly that. Is because you don't know what's happening. One of my favorite episodes was with Samantha Skyring out of South Africa,
Mhm.
and she has Kalahari salt, and it's salt that comes from the Kalahari Desert. And I don't
Wow.
know, Adam, I don't think you made that. I don't think you made that podcast. It's
Yeah,
funny.
I
There's a
messed that
trend
one.
here. My favorite podcast, Adam's not on. I'm sorry, Adam. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so we're having this podcast, right? So she's in South Africa. Lord knows I don't know what time it was, and she
Yeah.
had like her salt behind her, and she's in Whole Foods, the whole bit, right? And
Hmm.
these are people you can meet. These people you can probably do work with.
Yeah.
Anyway, she starts going cacao, cacao, cacao. Why are you going cacao? Right. And that's why I love going live. And I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I'm calling my son. That is our how to communicate. She wanted to have him bring something, but they do like a cacao call, which is, I guess, a bird in South Africa, the whole
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
The other kind of outtakes or whatever, sometimes traveling in Arizona and he's out. I don't know where you were at, Adam, or you were in Nevada or Arizona. I mean, I don't know. You were traveling somewhere, but he kept on coming in and out of the episode because of the
Yeah.
bandwidth, but that's what makes it fun. I mean, and
Yeah,
real and raw, right?
agreed.
I do agree. I think people are looking for like the you, right? I mean, we use Claude Coworker, we use Claude Code. We have AI agents running in the back to identify like tasks. Like we want to know every liquor license in the US. Now, I don't do that. Our partners at Ruby Pro Software do. They
Mhm,
capture this, but they do a really good job. They use the power of tech to
mhm.
get to information. My
Yes.
fear is that people are not like looking at that information and validating it, and they're just basically taking it and saying, "Here it is, go look at this."
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. It becomes a situation where people are just too comfortable not doing enough. People just get really comfortable not being lazy exactly, but just being like, okay, yeah, yeah. We'll go ahead and just say that that's correct. Everything's fine there. It's definitely easier to just check that box, but definitely not the smartest move per se.
So
Yeah.
keep on going here a little bit on your agency's media
Yes.
campaigns that don't just look pretty, they convert. Can you give us
Yes.
some examples of some campaigns that you've created that actually convert? So you're handwriting them, you're not using AI, so you have to have some great examples here.
Yeah, so I think a particular campaign that really stands out for me involves a current client that I have who's in the energy efficiency space.
Okay.
Clearly, the issue with energy efficiency, or not even energy efficiency, energy consumption is ridiculous. The cost for energy is out of control. And so, what he did was he did it this very interesting. We did a campaign that focused on different regions of the US that are particularly really dealing with high energy costs kind of throughout the nation. And we did special spots for each one of them. We did an SMT for them. We would do a specific dedicated landing page, a web page for their particular area. We did almost like little packages, media, web, blog posts, all dedicated to these specific areas within the US that really needed the support
So
of
I
their.
said 3 things: media, web, and blog posts.
Yes, yes. Apologies. I just ran over there. Yeah. So obviously, we wanted to have media to support, but I think content, of course, is essential as well. People like to digest information in different ways, and blog content is still quite popular, even though we're very visual now. So that's something to consider. But we would take those different pieces across these different hubs in the US and then communicate the need for these kinds of technologies to ensure that energy efficiency improves and costs go down for users. So we found that to be really, really helpful in terms of sales. And we're trying to take it global now at this point. That's a whole other ball game,
This
but
is how you create demand, though. So we always talk about demand and velocity, Adam, and what you just shared from a beverage standpoint. Again, what is the media, blog posts, and what was the third one?
web.
Web. So if you did that media, blog posts, and web approach, because when someone arrives at my desk and what I
Mhm.
do, I'm a commercial guy. Alicia and I, we're
Yeah.
like, hey, we do other things in Bev Assets, but frontline, our reps are going into bars, restaurants, packaged liquor stores, grocery stores, and they're going to go sell a physical thing like Freebird.
Freebird.
We can
Yes.
go push it.
Yeah.
But I do think I was challenged by someone, and I think he was absolutely right because I was like, "Go out in the wild," and he's like, "Hey, I respect you. That's great, but digital is a big part of it too."
Yeah.
And that was a great call out to me. So I've been thinking is you create the demand before I even arrive at the store. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the whole point there. Absolutely. Get them excited. And then they also realize that they actually do need it. They may not even know they need it. And then they do. And then they go ahead and make that purchasing decision. Of course, I wish it was that easy, that it was just, takes some time, obviously. But yeah, you create that demand in advance and then people just fall right in and
Well,
excited.
everybody's saying is you before you get distribution, you should have demand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So do you help like when you're, just put your head in the frame of a beverage brand if you don't
Okay.
mind, because I think
Yeah.
it could be a widget. It could be energy, it could be a person or whatever. I get that. But the biggest hardest part for any brand is to get distribution. It
Yes.
is.
Yes.
And it's the longest part. The second hardest part is once you get distribution, I call it foundation building.
Hmm?
That's the
Yeah.
slowest part.
Yeah.
Right? If
Absolutely.
you can get from foundation to the, actual, growth phase,
Hmm.
it starts to get easier. So
Yeah.
with your agency, how do you, so when you're thinking about, I'm trying to create this demand and I
Huh?
want to build my foundation, what are the steps? Maybe give us a, like the 3 to 5 steps that a brand has to do and how your agency brings that to life, or you just want people to know this is what you need to do.
So, in terms of steps, when engaging with a beverage brand, well, I have
Hmm.
an example, I suppose. I was working
Yeah.
with a beer brand who didn't have a distributor at that point. So I would say the first step is to obviously you have to have everything in place, be ready to go. You start reaching out to, I think target trade publications are a good way to go. Folks who are the key decision makers for distributors and such who learn about the product, get excited, and then they start those conversations. If media coverage results from conversation, that's something they can bring to the table when they go out and have conversations with potential distributors. They've got that credibility backing them. Media relations is so crucial in that way because it does build that credibility and that excitement.
So should you
It's
do that before distribution, after distribution, during distribution, or all just combined?
media all the time, all day long. Truly. It's just it has to
Okay.
it's a wheel. It's an ongoing wheel, but having that in the background at least to start has been very helpful. I think this particular brand was pitching Walmart and having had this kind of exposure already in place was huge for them. And now they're in Walmart, they're in Bucky's, they're in multiple large, stores, then they've been very successful.
And that media, so that getting that exposure, because Alicia, this is kind of Alicia's wheelhouse. When we talk to clients, they'll talk about like a media announcement or
Yep,
whatever, and she'll review it. And
absolutely.
is there an easy path to, like, if you're like you're rolling out something new, is it a costly way to get your name out there through media, or is there a way to do it that's not as costly? Or is there just a whole strategy behind?
I think it's really just strategy. Utilizing an agency to create almost a pathway is probably the best way to go. You want to have a formal launch, like a press release. We don't rely solely on press releases, but you want to announce it to the public. Then you want to talk about iterations. You want to talk about new markets. You want to show the pathway to get to where you are. And you want to announce that to the media and just keep it going, keep the wheel moving. And as that progresses, then, you continue to take off. I hope I answered the question with that. I kind of went off on a little bit of a
No,
tangent.
it's fine. I also want to slow down a little bit because, with the last few minutes, a couple people that have been in the audience, Duncan owns Firebelly Agency, and he wanted to actually see this episode today. And I'll connect you up with Duncan because he actually has a podcast.
Awesome.
Yes.
That'd be
So a
great.
lot
Thank
of our
you.
people in our audience have podcasts like Brand Arctica, Firebelly Marketing, Sipping and Saving with Joey Padone. I think there's a lot of different people that you can get on. Happy to make those. And then obviously I talked about Jayla earlier, and she's a neighbor of yours. She's in San Diego. I'm not sure where she's in San Diego, but she's in the California market.
Awesome.
Joshua Arrington says, "This is making my drive to Des Moines so much better. Thank you."
Good. That's good to hear.
And Alicia says, "Good morning. That's my partner." So we like to call out folks. Anybody out there, if you have any questions, please bring them on. We'd love to
Sam,
hear
do we want to
from
get
you.
to do we want to ask Duncan's question?
Yeah, go ahead. You do it.
So Duncan said, I have an add-on to it. He said, "What role does press play for beverage brands today?" And I'm curious, with the last few minutes we have, in addition to that, if you have an example of a particularly good or a particularly bad PR moment that you've seen in recent history from a beverage brand.
There's
Wow.
no bad PR.
Okay. That's probably one of the biggest issues is believing that, right? So the role media plays for beverage brands, was that the first question?
What
Yeah,
role
what role
does
does
press,
press
like the
play for
press,
beverage?
news, press, play for beverage brands today?
So they're huge. The role is I don't want to say they're everything, but they are a massive, massive part of brand awareness. Media is constantly changing. There are multiple different platforms you can explore, whether it be through print media, and it's not dead. I know people say it is dead, but it's not fully dead. People are embracing it in a lot of ways. You'll see more people with newspapers now. Anyway, media is the thing that puts you on the market. It keeps you moving and keeps interest going. You'll find that companies that are in the media have that level of credibility that consumers feel comfortable with. If a consumer sees your brand in a publication, they're like, hey, there's a reporter who actually sees value in this brand, in this company. I should feel comfortable with them. I feel safe with them. So that is so important. And you got to keep that going throughout your brand journey. One thing I will say though that I think is important to note is there is a difference between earned press and paid press. So when you are on
Oh,
your brand journey, avoid paid press where possible because a lot of these, let's say there's an article in, Food and Beverage magazine and it says sponsored at the top of it because it is in fact paid. That is such a red flag. I mean, if you see that, you're like, great, but you paid for this. This is not anything that a reporter endorsed. This is something you just, spent some dollars.
that is a great
Mhm.
point. It's funny, like, you have the LinkedIn, too, they're like, "Hey, do you wanna boost this?" And I've always
Yes.
avoided it.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
like,
think
"No, man, you either like my content or you don't like my content, it's
absolutely
fine."
consumers
Full
know.
bit.
I mean, they see it and it's actually kind of a turnoff, honestly.
Yeah.
I would rather see the New York Times post something, even if it's a tiny mention that's organic for a client versus Wall Street Journal doing something huge that's
Can
got
you get
sponsor.
so versus pay press, earn press, can you help clients get to earn press, like, and get
That's
exposure?
That's what we're all about. Yeah, archive PR and most PR agencies are all about fully earned. There is the option to help with paid, but that's more on the advertising side. I always try to steer clients towards earned. That's why we're here. That's why we're your partner because we want to get you credible coverage, something that you can share with your customers.
I love that. I'm wondering if Duncan will come back in with a question on that. I want to call Bill. He's in our public chat on actually Riverside. Bill, thanks for joining us. Bill's been asking us to look at a couple people today, and I didn't know, but Bill, I'll definitely check that person out. But Bill said, I wouldn't even know what trade publications is most read by Outbev distributors.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few. There's a lot. Well, for Food and Beverage magazine is obviously one that's important.
Yeah.
Gosh, what else are there? I
Like
could put together.
Babnet, Discus, WSWA, MBWA. I live
There's
in a world I can help
Beverage
you there.
Insider. There are quite a few out there.
Yeah.
You just have to do a bit of Googling and find them. And you'll find that a lot of reporters at more general publications, they'll have like wine reporters or they'll have like a spirits editor. They'll have people
Yeah.
very specific to your particular beverage or your
Yeah.
industry that could also be very valuable too.
Yeah, it seems like Wine Scores comes to mind. Is I wonder how many of those are actually earned or paid.
Yeah, something to look at. Definitely
You
avoid
know,
paid. So all the brands out there, earned.
yeah. So why do you avoid paid? This doesn't seem authentic.
What was that?
Doesn't seem authentic, right? It's like a
Yeah.
commercial, right? It's
Yeah.
like when you're watching. I don't know. I saw Reba McEntire doing a commercial the other day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Reba. She was doing a commercial. I'm like, why?
Why, Reba?
Right? So I'm like, but
Such
she
a
was doing a commercial. I mean, or you have the McDonald's CEO that comes to mind. Did you see that one when he did the whole LinkedIn thing and he was eating the Big
That was
Mac?
hilarious and such a bad move. Such a bad
The
move.
guy's like 100 pounds. He's never had a Big Mac. Trust me.
And his face, it's just like, "Oh,
You
man,
tell
I
him,
should have
Sam.
really thought about this." That's a bad
Yeah,
move.
man. I
That
mean,
was a big
yeah,
mistake for sure. Yeah.
so all right. So with the remaining minutes, I'm gonna let Adam ask the most important question of the
Boy.
day.
Okay.
And after we ask that question, we'll probably ask you to come back. Is there anything we didn't cover? And we'll wrap it up. So, Adam, the most important question. I don't think we prepared Priya for this, but it's a very important question. So, I want to give it a lot of thought.
What is the difference between success and failure?
So the difference between success and failure, well, it's hard to say because both of them are constantly in flux. Success is only a blip in time, failure is only a blip in time. It's really just how you move forward on both of those. Success is great. It's awesome that you get it, but that doesn't mean you land there and you end there. It's all about constant momentum. Failure, it's similar. It's all about continuing to push forward. So in some ways, there really isn't that much of a difference, to be honest. It's just you've done a little bit better. The other one is you're still kind of struggling, but at the end of the day, it's just an ebb and flow in business, especially in PR with clients too. They come and they go. It's just the nature of the business. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense
Have
to
you
you both.
seen the Seinfeld episode, Even Steven?
I knew
Yes,
you were
I
going to
love
bring that
Seinfeld is the best.
Always, always comes to mind. Well, so how did you get in that frame of mind? Like something in your life got you to where you think that way?
Oh yeah, and it took many, many years. I think it's really when you start to step away from working for someone else that you realize what success and failure really mean, at least to you as a person. When you work for an agency or another company, they tell you this is what success looks like, this is what failure looks like, and that's what it means to you as a person in your industry. That's what your career looks like. It really took some time stepping away and really thinking about what it actually meant to come to that point because that's hard. I take those things so hard. I'm being told I wasn't doing something right. When you're so passionate about something and you
Yeah.
get crushed, it's tough. So it took a while, but years later.
What keeps you out of bed in the morning? Keeps you going?
I have to say, not just coffee, but I think it's creative opportunities. Like many PR people, I love to write things. So I have ideas in the middle of the night. I'll just drop them on my phone or write them on my notepad. And so it's fun in the morning to wake up and think, okay, what can I do with what I've written, and what can I do that's unique and special today? So maybe that's kind of cheesy, but I feel like that's part of life. You got to be excited about your day ahead of you. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
So,
So today, as we wrap up, anything we didn't cover today that you want to cover with us? And two is, how do people find you?
Yeah, well, I think one thing I just wanted to note for folks who are listening is that branding is not a static activity. It's something that's always in flux. Give yourself some grace. If you find something isn't working, it's okay. Just pivot. Remember, you can always pivot, and if you have the right people in place, the right partners, you'll get to where you need to go. So just know that there's a lot of opportunity. Where to find me on LinkedIn, also the website archivepr.com is a great place to go for updates on our coverage and
A
things like
ARK.
that. pr.com.
Is this archive.com?
Archivepr.com. Sorry about that.
Archive PR. I'm going to put it on the screen.com. I'll make sure that it comes up right here. All right. And whoops. Hopefully you guys can still see me. I left the screen for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah,
There we
no, you're
go. Go
good.
back over here. I went to your website, actually. I keep on doing that. Keep on hitting it wrong. I'll stream it. There we go. Show it on the screen. Is that right there? Did it come?
Yeah,
Oh, there it is.
there we
Yes,
go.
that's me. That's the website.
It worked. I made two massive visits to your screen and can find you on LinkedIn.
Yes,
So as we
absolutely.
wrap up here, maybe just go around and have some closing thoughts. Adam, anything on your mind in terms of today that you want to share with the group before we close down, and then we'll go to Priya.
Yeah, I mean, I think, um, you're the first think about this. I hope this doesn't offend anybody else we've talked to because my memory is a little fuzzy, but I think you're the first like PR agency owner we've spoken to, or at least that I have as part of the
Really?
show. Uh, I think just in general, A, I enjoy your perspective. B, I think for a lot of brands, right, as somebody who has a degree in PR but does operations for a living, the number of people that think, oh, hey, I'm just going to make a product and it'll resonate with people. No, it won't. Like, you need to be a better storyteller or you need to hire one.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, yeah, I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed your insights. We could sit here and do this all day, I'm sure. And I would encourage anybody who's in need to reach out because I mean, to Sam's question about most brands being noise, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people just assume that their story is interesting because it's interesting to them. They don't think like, well, is that true? So that's my 2 cents for today.
Yeah, for me is earned media versus paid media. That really
True.
resonated with me. I also respect the fact that you said you write all your content and that you don't use AI. I've used AI for content. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's helped me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come up with some ideas. Generally will type it in there and I'm like, hey, can you clean this up? Help me
Yeah.
with this idea. And I'll speak to it. Now we're exploring obviously Claude, but I respect that because I think it's really important I don't know where we're headed
Yeah.
as humans. I don't know if we're having a Terminator moment. Certainly appreciate that. So thank you. And people can find you at archivepr.com. Please reach out to Priya. She is awesome. I got a chance to talk to you before this, and I have a lot of energy. I do have to ask before you close down, and I'll close back. But you said you're from the Midwest. Was it
I am.
Ohio?
Kansas. Kansas. I'm
Kansas. That's
north and
right.
Yep.
And that's right. And Alicia is living in Wichita. Where in Kansas?
Oh my gosh, I'm in Pittsburgh. I don't know if she knows the area. It's southeast corner, kind of by Missouri, Oklahoma. There's a university there, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Well, she's coming.
Right near.
She's attending through Wichita, Kansas. So your nickname is Dorothy now to me,
Okay.
or the
I just
Wizard of Oz. So, but any closing thoughts from you?
no, I just so appreciate both of you speaking with me, and I hope that some of what I said was helpful or interesting. It's just such a joy to get to know both of you and to be able to talk a bit about all of this stuff that I love and so much opportunity out there. We can achieve so much. We can.
Right. That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining today. Thanks everybody for joining us on Saturday. Enjoy your weekend ahead. It's raining here in Minnesota, so we'll just get through the weather. And please stay on the line, both of you, and let everybody else get to their weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.